Ready.
Okay, just to let you know, one says type A, I don't know if it matters.
Did I give you the type A?
It's titled type A, but it looks like the,
It is. I got type A and type B. Let me go get them. They're just like them there. I can move my butt.
I waited till game,
Well, just set them to the side. The next group will meet them in a few minutes.
waited till game time to point that out. All right, we can go ahead and get started here. So, it's 4:01 and calling to order the, Joshua Type B Economic Development Corporation and Parks Board meeting. She's gone. We don't have a citizen forum. I mean, we got a lot of folks here, but I don't think anybody's speaking until we get to the agenda items, right? Do you know?
Unless anybody signed up to speak. I don't see any up here.
today. Marshall always likes to speak. I thought he might want to. All right, then the regular agenda item, review and discuss questions related to the budget report for December 25. Mr.
Marcy's here.
This is through December of 2025, which is 25% of the way through the fiscal year. So we're going to want to kind of compare the percent used on this report to 25%. Total revenues are at 30, so over 25, which is good. And then we're going to want the total for expenditures to be under the 25, and it is 20. So.
No, I like the money coming in to be a lot higher. That's good. Anybody have any questions on the budget as presented by Marcy? All right. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and possible action on approving the January 12th, 2026 meeting minutes. Sorry, reading's tough today. I apologize. Anybody have any questions on the meeting minutes?
Hang on just a minute, Dustin. Let's let Alice get before you start making motions.
Yeah.
I remember it.
We have 3 motions and 2
Thank you.
seconds for you to.
They just,
Start making the motion.
they've approved everything.
Rush off the printer, literally.
Yeah, so we got a motion on the table for approving the minutes as presented from last month. We need a second. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please raise your hand. In favor?
Did you?
All right, item number 3. Discuss, consider, and possible action on a resolution expressing support for the FM 917 Railroad Grade Separation Project. Mr. Peacock.
Okay, so some of you that have not been made aware, the city's been involved in some pretty significant conversations with the Texas Department of Transportation and the North Central Texas Council of Governments, revisiting the 917, what was going to be the underpass going underneath the railroad. Due to multiple pushbacks from TxDOT, kind of kicking, letting down the road, failure to, I think, to communicate with COG and certainly with us. This thing's been kicked down the road for years. The mayor brought it up in some meetings with our legislator, Helen Kerwin, who pushed a few buttons in Austin that managed to ring in Arlington at the transportation office, who was amazed that the project was not already built because it was funded years ago. But the reality is it's not built, and COG is very unhappy about that. They've put a lot of pressure on TxDOT. They've been coming down here to meetings over the last few weeks, really with their hat in their hand, and have made us a pretty significant offer to consider. The result of that is a special council meeting coming up this Thursday night, where they'll be laying out the diagram for this and the stuff that you're fixing to see here. One of the things that they have asked us for, because it includes a park element, And I'm going to go over all this stuff with you as they have asked for a resolution in support of the concept. They're not asking for any money. This is a park project that will be built solely by TxDOT in this project, and it'll be turned over to the city for as a city park and maintenance once it's done. So with that, what you're seeing here is kind of the top aerial view of FM 917, which will be realigned to go over the railroad tracks. The initial concerns years back when we talked about over versus under was the residents had concern that there would be just a wall of pillars all up underneath the roadway. They've come back with a concept that while it does have some pillars, new enhancements in construction allow these spans to be longer, so we're not going to see pillars over 25 feet. And they have allowed for if we go with the overpass route, which we believe is a good option that they've made us, it solves a couple of problems. One, it is millions of dollars less in funding. Number two, it takes years off of the process of getting permits to build a road under the railroad. That railroad has to be realigned for a period of time because it still has to be used. It overcomes years of planning and permitting and millions of dollars. And three, they offered to build a city park at no expense to the city underneath it. Next page. So it'll come complete with landscaping
See if they'll let me.
as soon as the equipment decides to
Yes.
help us out.
Technology works.
The route remains the same. There's no difference in the location of the route. It's going to be just to the north of the current 14th Street, which is at the light right down here. It'll be just to the north of it. 14th, as you can see in those pictures there, kind of in the center right, you see the red stripe going through there. That is 14th Street. There'll be parking included for the park along 14th Street, but 14th will remain open. And the only question I have is, I don't know if it's going to remain open at the crossing. I believe it eliminates that crossing because the crossing will go overhead. So the crossing there will be closed. Next slide. This is a view facing towards City Hall, just to give an idea of the landscaping and how the bridge would lay out. Next. This is looking at 14th. No, that's the other side. That's the north side of the park. I can't really tell.
It's in Santa Fe. Santa Fe.
That's the crossing looking towards the crossing from, I think Eddy, City Hall and downtown's in the upper left. Go next. This is the intersection right in front of Hickory Tree looking towards City Hall's on your left there, and then you'll see the bridge across the top. Next. This is just a rendering of what could be placed underneath and how that would lay out. All of this will be lighted, be LED lighted from underneath, multicolored lighting, so it can all be used in the evening time as well. Next. That shows an open space that'll be in the park. There'll be turf grass there and just be open for concert venues, just outdoor activities going on. Next. This is an aerial view of the route, the way it'll go. If you notice down to your far right, that is the intersection of 174 by the Valero. The intersection continues where it is now, and right as you pass the Valero, it will veer to the left, crossed Wayside. And as it comes to straighten out in that curve, it will begin to go up in the air from that point. All the areas in yellow are what they are depicting. Well, they're showing that to be kind of the downtown destination. The main area we're looking at is right around the road there. All of that will become parkland on the bottom side of that railroad. Next. And this is a kind of a layout. I'm sorry for the draft on there. We tried to get them to take that off and send it back, but you can see on the far right side of this, there's two dog parks. The larger one is for large animals, the smaller one for small animal. And then you would cross Main Street to the open area, and there's walking track from that point all around it. Then you would come up, there'll be a big soundproof wall across the tracks blocking off that side. And we're working on getting an overpass, a walkway attached to the overpass for people to walk over the tracks and down onto the other side of the tracks, where there'll be what we're going to propose. I believe Steve is still working on some things, but one of those outdoor exercise venues, a little playground. They have a basketball court in there and 2 pickleball courts, along with what they've got labeled as locker rooms. And we're going to replace that with restrooms, to have restrooms at that facility also. We will have all kinds of say in what amenities go in down there. This is just kind of a representation of what they're presenting. We can have whatever activities we want down there. They've even had some pictures that had ping pong tables outdoor ping pong tables for people. These are kind of the most common things that you're seeing now, and things that kind of hit the wheelhouse that we have. And but again, this is kind of the draft presentation, and if we support the concept, then they're asking that we sign a resolution tonight that will go to them next week. Council is scheduled to do one there, as are several other. School district is involved and has signed off on this. The ESD is taking a look at it for approval. And so we've got some letters of support coming for this, but this has got some traction. It's got the attention of, my understanding is several heads at TxDOT have rolled over this. It does save a considerable amount of money by going overhead, but I think we've mitigated that appearance, and they've offered some pretty doable solutions, I think. And so by approving the concept, like I said, it doesn't mean we're writing them a check. They have not asked for any money from us. They've just asked that if we approve the concept of having a park underneath there. Questions?
This is probably more for council, but I won't be here Thursday. I'm just wondering about the homes that might be there, that might be displaced.
There are 13 properties that would be displaced, one of which the city owns, which is the animal shelter, and
Right.
we've known that. The property owners along this route have known for years about this route, because that have not changed. So nobody's going to be surprised.
Okay.
But that would be probably the next significant stage, is they'd start the acquisition stage. I don't know what those dates are. They're talking about being able to be in a position to start turning dirt in 2027. That's a pretty aggressive timeline, given 12 properties that we know about ours, and that shelter is in a position that needs to be rebuilt anyway. It's not nearly large enough. So we were looking at replacement anyway. We've just been holding off on this to start that process. But the other 12, like I say, homes, most of those people are already aware that this is coming. So we may hear, obviously there's going to be some opposition. There always is. We don't really know what that'll be yet, but I don't believe anyone would argue with the fact that there needs to be something done with that crossing. So I don't think there's going to be an argument with anyone there.
How much parking will be available, do you know?
I don't know how much is laid out here. Most of it shows to be head in, but I think we're going to be needing to look at parking on the left side of the screen above where the outside court areas are, that green space. That's where the current animal shelter is.
Mhm.
And my guess is a lot of that will remain city property. My guess is we'll put a parking lot there to allow for some people to park at those. The head-in parking, I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
Oh, yeah.
It's got quite a bit, but I doubt it. Parking is always a problem downtown everywhere. We're no different. So I think we would add some parking into this, probably in that area right there behind, because that crossing right there behind the shelter, that crossing is going to be closed as well.
Santa Fe?
Burlington, BNSF, yeah, Santa Fe. So I would expect that we'll put, I don't know how many we can put there, but there are a couple of options for parking lots of property that the city currently owns that can be used for parking lots. And that will be part of type A, may help with some of that stuff, or it may be something that they put the parking in for us anyway. I don't think that's a stretch to ask.
So we can always put it on our wish list for.
Well, yeah, we'll ask whether or not they agree to it or not. I mean, they may, but it will have to have more parking than just a head end, but we do have a couple of options for it.
Depends on how embarrassed they are for having taken so long to get this done.
Well, so far, I think they're pretty ashamed. I mean, the meetings have had finance people from the Council of Governments and from TxDOT. It's had PR people from both agencies. It's had kind of the higher up decision makers in there. So I think there's been enough cages rattled now that this has got on everybody's radar. So we just don't want to let it stop. The mayor wants to keep pushing forward. He's very involved and he's ringing their phones off the hook weekly, making sure they stay focused on this. So he's really been working this hard.
So obviously I like the idea of all the parks and all of that good stuff. But it is an added cost for upkeep, maintenance, things of that nature, right? So that's something that we have to take into consideration. I mean,
Do we have an estimate on that?
I'm sorry?
Do we have an estimate on the maintenance cost? The upkeep?
No, not until we know what
we don't
exactly is
know what
going
parks
on.
are gonna be there yet, right?
We're asking, like I say, for a lot of the turf areas are going to be artificial turf, so we can cut back on what we're mowing.
Okay.
Landscaping will be something we'll have to keep up with, but I mean, there will be some added expense to maintain it.
Dog parks.
I was gonna say the dog park, yeah, the dog park kind of requires a different type of care for obvious reasons. And I know that over the years, that's kind of why Joshua hadn't gotten a dog.
Well, this is going to
Well,
require,
yeah.
I mean, you guys only have what you have. I think that, there are going to be some things we have to work through to figure out, but we have to get there first before we can get
Put the
there.
cart before the
I
horse.
can't tell you.
Yeah, we're
Yes, I
probably
mean,
gonna have ourselves, but,
There's things I think.
those
we
are
need to
things that we'll be
consider.
able to answer before they start
okay.
digging, but yeah, there will be some added upkeep.
Where's the new animal shelter planned? Any ideas?
The plan is, right now, is to put it on the other side of the Parks and Rec building, which is farther down Santa Fe,
Okay.
Okay.
if it'll fit. Now, we also have property behind the Methodist Church that we have, and we've also got property on Gregory.
Can we get TxDOT to help pay for that too?
Well, they'll have to buy out the facility that we have, so that they will be.
Okay.
They'll, I mean, it's not gonna cover all the cost of it, but we're working on some other options for them too, some things with the county. They want to expand, or they want to put a footprint on animal control in the unincorporated areas of the county. So we're in some conversations with them, about some funding stuff for
Has
taking.
Vanessa seen any grants or anything that would help us in that area?
He's looking for those things right now.
Okay.
There are definitely grants out there for animals and Parks and Rec things that we'll be chasing a lot of those for sure.
What is the time frame? You said it would start in 2027. Do they have a estimated end date?
They have not, well, no, we don't have that yet. I think we're still, if everything so far has been centered on an underpass. And there was one big obstacle they haven't been able to get around, and that's the water. When you put a 25-foot hole downtown, that's gonna collect a lot of water. The closest waterway to it is Buffalo Creek, and it's not a defined tributary, so it's not gonna carry a lot of capacity. That's always been a concern, that has never been fully resolved with engineering. And so this solves a lot of that, where we're not gonna have that, because we'll be able to channel this water in other areas that it's not just gonna set in a bowl. So it resolves that, but as far as actual cost for this, I think we'll start getting numbers. They've got estimates of what it will save, but we don't have exact numbers on what the cost is gonna be yet. I expect that'll probably be the next step that we start looking at beyond Thursday night. They could show up Thursday with some cost estimates. All they've said is it will be many millions less than the underpass.
So what are you looking for from type B then? A resolution expressing support? What does that mean?
Support for the concept that, yes, you're interested in the downtown park area, if it comes to fruition, and that's really all this states at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
There's a draft.
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see a downside to this.
Right.
No.
I mean, we could always come in and say, no, we don't want it, but they're giving us a lot of option over the roadway, but bear in mind, this is solely a TxDOT project, so they have control over. I mean, they're asking us for our help and our opinion, but they don't have to.
Right.
We appreciate that we're included. We've always been included in the conversations. They've had a problem getting out of their own way lately. They're not very good at it. And,
I mean, honestly, from a safety and a travel point of view, and with more people coming into the city, I wouldn't say no to something like this.
well,
It's
when
been
that
needed.
Amazon distribution center opens up, the truck traffic's gonna go crazy.
Exactly, exactly.
Getting to
So,
97, getting to 35, and we're already seeing it on some of our streets with big trucks.
We open till 28.
Hope not. What, the road or
No,
Amazon?
the Amazon.
Well, I don't know when that big thing's
Yeah,
gonna
I
open
was just
up.
in there a couple of weeks ago, or behind. Okay, so then we need to make a motion and, all right, so I'm looking for a motion to, support the,
Approved a resolution supporting the project.
so, yes, to, for a resolution expressing support for the project.
so
A
move.
motion.
Okay. Motion and a second. Okay. All in favor?
Definitely.
Unanimous support. All right. Number 4, discuss, consider, and possible action on approving an updated field use agreement between the Joshua Youth Sports Association and the City of Joshua for the use of City Park baseball fields and related facilities.
So we have a revised version of field use agreement. The old one was in need of updates, clarification. Things in the old agreement, the 2025 agreement, that contradicted itself and was not completely clear. So we updated the terms, put definitions blocked in the agreement. One of the big changes was timeline that the association would have pick up the trash after the event. So 24 hours to noon the next day. So that would help us be able to enforce the trash picking up. Anytime afternoon, we'd be able to go in there without having to give 24 hours for part of the trash difference. I think all the rules and expectations are the same. They've been clarified, lowered. Use fees, player fees, from $24 to $20, and lowered the tournament rate from $100 per team to $80 per field per day. Significant lumbering tournament cost. The stipulation to the tournament is that 50% of the participants have to be interlocked for JYSA. Get that $80 rate, but we also have approved, or y'all approved the field use fee for public race. So we wanted, if the association wanted to have a tournament that was 60% outside organizations coming in, they could still do that, but it would be publicly.
Which is what?
$300 per event. So it's still cheaper than $100 team. $300 per day. So this gives clear definitions, it lowers the rate. We've opened the field use to 7 days a week instead of 5 days a week. So there's a lot of benefits with this.
What's the downfall of 7 days per week? Anything?
That's my question too.
It would be an increased foot traffic on the field for our field maintenance schedule. We'll have it closed during a few weeks during the summer for season. That's the dormant. There's less traffic on the field. Just field maintenance. So we do have the ability to close the fields if they are getting too worn and need maintenance. If we need to go rest, but we shouldn't have any issues. We installed base paths from the dugouts to home plate. So player traffic, other than outfielders, all the foot traffic coming from to and from home plate is on a third walkway and not through turf. So that helps us a lot with and preserving. So we're trying to take steps that we can give more time to the association, to baseball games and field use without putting too much wear and tear. So we're trying to take those steps to be able to
Okay, so, oh, sorry. So it wouldn't add too much in the way of maintenance costs to, okay. Okay.
If we do find ourselves in a position where we are getting a lot of wear and tear, slow down usage.
Okay.
Fertilizing, we're
Yeah.
putting,
We knew it was coming.
air, just bought an aerator for our infield tracks, so we have the ability to aerate multiple times a year, do all the things we need to do to make it as possible.
I remember you discussing the optional audit thing, and there was gonna be some legal review on that. Is there a verdict on that yet?
So we're talking to the attorney, the audit was gonna stay in the agreement.
Okay.
Uh,
It's discretionary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not mandatory, it's not an automatic
Right.
audit, it's discretionary.
Okay.
So let me make some comments on the audit. I visited with Terry this morning, also visited with Marshall, who's the board president, over two sticking points that the association had. And first, I want to say, when Steve brought this and started talking about this, I gave him very little direction, just to look out for the fields, look out for the city, and make sure that we could take care of the ball fields. He's made some pretty significant improvements out there that I don't want to see us lose. And so I think he did exactly what we asked him to do, did a fine job putting this together. I know there's been a lot of back and forth with he and with Marshall. And so this has been very time consuming and I mean, pretty significant project. So I appreciate all the work he did. I did agree to meet with the association at Marshall's request. We met this morning, Aaron and myself and Marshall. And we explained why we needed the lingo and the ability to monitor nonprofits, that we've had issue with that in the past. There's also, I think, in the very near future, legislation is going to make some significant changes as to the way 501c3 nonprofits operate, especially with what's going on in Minnesota. I think there's going to be a big crackdown on those. Not that we need all that here. And after talking to Marshall, hearing their side of this and their concerns and what they believed was what they could live with the audit, even though I explained we're certainly not asking them to spend $30,000 and do a full audit every year. That, for the amount of money we're talking about, that makes no sense. In the past, what we've done is we have occasionally asked for the number of players that we've balanced out. We've asked them to do a 10% random selected audit on expenses, where they randomly select 10% of invoices and match them with checks or with payments, just to make sure things were done. That can be done by anybody in that board who is not the treasurer. It can be done by a local business person, banker. We were not asking for a CPA. Unfortunately, sometimes what I told Marshall this morning, I think there are two people in this world that screw things up: lawyers and engineers. While both are necessary, I think the legal ease that was put on here gave some concern, that pretty much said, bring us your books when we ask, and we're going to see everything. That's not what we need. That's not what we want. I think what we need is something that focuses on baseball and softball. And so we sent some wording over to Terry this morning that he looked at. Section 902, I think y'all have the updated version. That basically says we have the right to review and inspect records reasonably necessary to verify compliance with this agreement, including documentation directly related to activities conducted on city facilities, e.g. participant registration, totals, proof of insurance, proof of 501c3 status, documentation of fees to the city if applicable. The city shall provide, or the association shall provide such records within 30 days of written request. Inspection rights of the city should not be extended. We will not give out donor lists, unrelated fundraiser records. That financial stuff not related to the city is not what we're interested in. And there's another reason for not wanting those documents here, because once we have them, they become public record. And so I'm not interested in being the distribution house for the JBA's finances, nor should we be. So this is just something to make sure that we're not having theft occur, which has had in the past. that we're not having misuse of funds, which has happened in the past, not by this group, but by previous groups. Dustin, you came in and stepped in and helped us a few years ago when they had some issues going on. When we had people coming to us, and when that happens, we just need the ability to look into these things, and make sure that things that are being taken out for the kids are getting there. So, Terry was okay with making that change after being clear about what it is we wanted. I think that we can get the information that we need with that. And so he was okay with this language, as am I. And so that changes in what you have now. There's one other area that they wanted to talk about user fees. And while I was not willing to eliminate the ability to collect some sort of fee to help offset the cost of maintaining the park, we have used user fees for the past 11 years as that means to do that. That doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. So Marshall, we spoke about an alternative plan that involves tournaments that would allow the youth in Joshua not to pay a field user fee, but they could still generate revenues through tournaments. I asked him to bring that to you guys today so you can hear it. Y'all can decide, and see how comfortable you are with it. Like I say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And so it may be something they believe would generate even further revenue to cover expenses in the park. I just felt, I know Dustin, with your background with it, you're going to understand some of this. Some of you other may as well. But since y'all are going to be the ones making the discussion, I wanted you to hear directly from Marshall on what their plan is and how we can move, if that's a way that we can move forward with this agreement. If that's the case, we can make those adjustments. We can approve the agreement pending those reviews, and we'll get those reviews put in place. And I also want you to hear, Steve and I briefly talked about it this morning. He may have some points to mention in this too. So let's hear from both of them and see if we can figure out a way to make this work for us and maybe change the way we're collecting these fees.
Sure.
Marshall, you're up.
Yes, my name's Marshall Miller. I'm president of JLSA. A lot of my group's here today too. So we're all pretty passionate about this. Currently, the city's collecting $20 or so there is a reduction there, but they're collecting that. Any fees that are imposed on the sports, we don't pay, right? We take those fees, we raise our registration costs, pass them on to our parents and the kids that are playing with them. So any fees that we get, it's not a fee on us, it's on our registration. So in lieu of that, I had some ideas to get away from burdening our members and our kids with the additional fee, but rather putting it on to the non-citizens that come to our town and use the field, use the facility. And like what Mike said, it's a tournament-based fee. We being JOSA would host 2 or 3 tournaments in the spring, 2 or 3 tournaments in the fall, maybe a couple of the summer, to get these teams to come in from out of town. They would pay a team fee, which is standard across, paying a team fee for a tournament play is standard across the board, anywhere from $150 to $200 team up to $500-600 team, depending on the level of play. So 10, 12 teams in the tournament, $200-300 a team, getting $3,000-4,000 in team fee just for them to show up and use the facility. We do that a few times a year. It's going to exceed the $20 per player fee that JOSA would be running the check. So my proposal isn't to eliminate fees, it's to eliminate JOSA paying the fees and put them on to the non-citizens that come to utilize the field and the park. So right now, St. Joshua is really the only facility that we pay to use. We have a great relationship with the ISD. They allow us to use the facilities at no cost. Issues come up, we work with them, we get everything done. We offer 5 other sports, football, cheerleading, boys, basketball, volleyball, cross our esports thing, and all that's ran through the ISD facilities. Check out sports campus, students, high school gyms, national stadium on Saturdays. Everyone is looking for one. So it's nothing new to us to be able to use facilities and make sure we take care of them, make sure we're maintaining them properly. all the little stuff in the agreement, our organization's completely okay with. Mike was great, talked to this morning within almost 2 hours. He was real happy, he was understanding about the audit thing, so I don't think that is this fee schedule thing. If y'all are open to it, I'd love to burden the non-citizens with these fees.
I know you mentioned that you have already sponsored some tournaments. Are there plans to have more tournaments then in the coming years?
So, yeah, the plan would be to start now and schedule these tournaments throughout the year. Because if you start early enough and you can market enough, you can get as many teams as you want. And if we have the fees set early on, then we can just base how many tournaments we have based on how many teams we can get. And it's a lot easier to schedule. And we know we'll exceed the amount of revenue from the $20 players. If we have everything set early, then we can schedule it throughout the year.
Okay, thank you.
But how many players do you have now?
So we're still doing running registrations right now. We're around the 270, 280 mark. Last year, we were well in 300, 340-ish. We're tracking to beat that this spring. And
It's doing math.
yeah, last fall was great. This spring's tracking to.
And only Joshua residents?
We have some come from out of town, but I bet it's 98% Joshua residents. You know, we get kids that don't like playing for whatever reason, they want to come over here and play with us. Yeah, but
Yeah,
It's 5 versus
for
2.
sure.
Yep.
so they go over for a reason, right? But it's very few. I bet we're high 90% Joshua residents.
The 270 to 300 kids, $20 a head, we're about $6,000 tournament fees.
Last year, spring season was right around $7,000, and then the fall season was so it's around $13,000 for the year.
Did you say your tournament fees would offset those costs or separate it?
Definitely, yeah. If we can schedule them early and have them set through the year, it will exceed that.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Sounds like a no-brainer to me that we put something like that together, that we don't burden the kids that are Joshua residents and put it back onto the non-residents and tournament fees and things of that nature. Am I missing something on that from the staff? That
No, I think, I mean, I think that it could work. I think that the whole key on is that we have the tournaments. And I think that what I'd initially mentioned to Marshall and we kind of talked about is kind of taking a look at this and kind of learn as we go. I think right now you're collecting the $20, right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we looked at this over the course of the next year, we have that $20 per player fee that can be paid. We do these tournaments. And then if it turns out like he says, and this revenue is generated, then I think we take this up and we can use that as going forward. We can do this 1-year agreement and then refund some of the money if necessary, if it draws that in, if it works. Like we're working on some more parking out there, so that's going to help solve that. I've reached out and I've tried to get a hold of the people with that property today. They haven't called back yet, but I think that we're going to be able to more than double the parking capacity, so that's going to help with some of the larger tournaments. We need it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I think this can work. On paper, it looks like it can work, maybe even be a better reimbursement to the city. But if not, we always have this that we can fall back on. And
So do we keep the contract the way it is and then reevaluate it in the fall based on what kind of tournament turnout was through the summer or something like that? I mean,
you know, I think
look at it then or what?
I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it that way, just putting a 1-year date on this agreement. But
As
also,
opposed to-
this tournament also allows us to redo this agreement as needed. And if we get halfway through the year and it looks like it's working, we can change it anytime. And then they can eliminate that fee. Maybe, you know, if it works out and they're able to do some tournaments between now and what's next, fall ball after this, maybe we can do something by then. I don't want to kick the can down the road and have them hanging in limbo for a year. The quicker we can figure that out, I think so.
$20 fee is like per game or?
Per player.
Or for the lane, yeah.
No,
Per player revenue.
Okay.
For the season,
Over the
over the course of the season.
I'd almost like to see us reevaluating this after fall ball, because I'm sure there's fall tournaments that would be coming up that might be usable, and then just that way we would have the entire year. We could
Fall is
compare.
generally less,
Yeah,
still, just because kids are playing football, they're
Right.
playing,
basketball, well, not
yeah,
basketball.
playing other sports. Some parents only want to be in the competitive part of spring where tournaments and all-stars come into play. And so fall ball, they, use it as a instructional season
Right.
and, so it's hard to get real numbers in the fall, right?
I'm sure you know the travel balls, where everybody.
All right, yeah.
In November.
Okay.
We're bringing it out of town, it's probably a lot of travel ball tournaments wanting to be played here.
Mm.
So there's, like I said, February to November, there's big tournaments, people out there looking for those tournaments.
When is the enrollment for this, would this take place for this next, is it already taking
I was
place?
hoping for the spring,
Spring?
if it happens for the spring, we'd be able to reinvest, the fees back in our organization to give the kids what they love, they just love things.
And so you take the $20 and reinvest it back into the kids, or you just take it off the enrollment?
We've received
Okay,
270 registrations already.
so
included.
what you're saying is that we would currently leave it as it's placed now?
I think we would leave it in place for now. However, what we could do, I think we could probably forego collecting the money through the spring season, and let's see what these tournaments do. And then if it,
You're
I
talking
think,
$6,000 or
I think we can
something,
do the agreement as it is with the change. Marshall was okay with the wording change on the audit part of it. And I'm sorry, there's not a better word for audit. It's kind of an ugly word when you look at it. It is what it is. We can do an addendum to this to bring back to you guys to take a look at, and we can just bill that money. I mean, we can make it due after the spring season. I don't think $6,000 or $7,000 is going to bankrupt the board. I don't think it's a big deal, and then we can take a look at it, and if it's working out, then we can do it.
I think it's, like I said, it's 6, 7, 8 grand. So I think just my knowledge of knowing how many tournaments can happen, I think it's a safe bet to say that that's the way that we should go and that the contract should have an addendum put in it now.
We can do that. We can do the addendum outlining what's going to happen to make this up. Steve and I can work through that pretty quick, I think. And then we'll take a look at the end of the spring season and see how it's looking, and maybe we can make the change then. But I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't want to hear from Steve, obviously, on it before we.
The only change needed would be the schedule y'all approved for presentation for last meeting with all of us would like that are outside tournament. The field today. Jerry has something in there about.
We'll put that in the addendum.
Yeah, so that's what I want to say. The addendum would override.
We'll
that,
figure
right?
out what that rate is, and we'll put that in the addendum.
Okay.
That'd be the easiest.
These are entry-level balls. We're here for our youth association and we're putting back to the kids. And it
Absolutely.
typically wouldn't matter much, but most of these parents are putting their kids into it, probably on a budget anyways, and every $20 counts. So
Exactly.
that's what this field was built for.
Mhm.
Thank you, Marshall, for putting that kind of stuff out there.
Mhm.
One question that came to mind, kind of popped out, was you said when an issue arises, we'll just handle it. What type of issues have you had in the past that we may need to be aware of?
Like when we use the school facilities,
Okay.
like if the gyms weren't swept to their standard, they call me. We correct with all our coaches. We allow the coaches a lot of freedom to use the facility. And then, like, the first one there opens it up, gets everything ready. Last one there locks it up, sweeps, picks up the trash on it.
Okay.
But we've had some issues for coaches that are late in the way out, and they don't pick stuff up. Then I have to get with the coach and say, hey, we can't do that. And we just handle it immediately. We're going really, really good. Same thing with like the stadium use. They say, hey, just retract. So it's all just about communication and being on the same page. They have direct line of communication with me and vice versa. Very relationship.
Awesome.
Steve, do you have any comments, sir?
So field maintenance comes with cost. There's no way around that. Ifs, ands, or buts. It costs money to your performance. It costs roughly around $22,000 between the operation costs that our department puts into it, puts into it between all the budgets, like for baseball, as well as utilities. So with the fee schedule, for the $20, we'll recover anywhere from $13,000 to $16,000. So we're still top heavy on expense type fee, but it's offset with that type of fee schedule. In the last 3 years, we've not had any tournaments from JYSA. We've run Small Town Select. We've had 3 tournaments from them. We only have 2 baseball fields that are appropriately sized for baseball. All 3 fields we use for softball, but there's only 2 that are appropriate for baseball. So we'd be looking at relatively small tournaments coming in. My recommendation would be keep it as it is this year. Let's go ahead and do the tournaments and see what a realistic number is before we agree to changing it, just in case it comes in much lower than what was projected. And then, so I'm not opposed to looking into other alternative ways to recoup some of the expense. But looking at what would be realistic versus, a good prediction or a heavy-sided prediction, when we haven't seen any kind of numbers from that before. So that would be my recommendation. I don't want to turn it into a, lack of better terms, glad we paid Tuesday for a hamburger today. Tuesday.
What was that guy's name?
Wimpy.
Mr. Whipple?
Wimpy.
Is that what it is?
Wimpy, I think.
That sounds right.
Showing our age.
Options, it is standard practice in parts of the industry with other cities, that there is a cost recovery, whether it's a player fee or an hourly rate or however. It does vary, so there are other options. But until we know what those numbers, the true actual numbers would be, I don't know if we want to jump right into changing it this year. We could use this year as kind of an exploratory, maybe at the end of spring season or right before fall season, we revisit it. But that's what
In negative now? And you said we're top heavy. We currently negative.
6,000 to 8,000, right? Yeah.
So anywhere from 13 to 16,000 in cost recovery off of player fees, but it's around $22,000 for utilities. That's the light, water, chemical application, fertilizer, weed killer, wasp killer, ant killer, the time and gas, fuel, the expendables, be able to, the consumables, be able to run the equipment and take care of it. It all equals out to around $22,000.
And it's all, in fact, it's always been top heavy for us. It's never covered what.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not there to make money. It's a quality of life thing, and so that's why it's there. And I think what we're doing, it basically does exactly what he just said, recommended that we leave this in place for now. Let's go through this season and take a look at what happens, and then we come back. We'll put together an addendum that says we're going to take a look at this and help map that out so we have it, and then we get back together after the spring season. We take a look at it.
Do you guys plan on having a typical tournament season for spring and summer? So then yeah, I agree.
We're kind of limited with what we can contract, so I try to get the schedules.
Well, you're not limited, right? I mean, what do you mean by limited?
The freedom to schedule them, it has to go through all the channels first, which is, I guess, kind of it's harder than it used to be to schedule these tournaments. And I'm not agreement, and that's what it's there for, right? So when someone's out there just using it. So, the ability to schedule tournaments is difficult. So if we could get it sooner than later.
So if Marshall goes out and does a great job with tournaments and puts out X number of tournaments and puts back into this fund $5,000 or $6,000, are we gonna prorate that back to Joshua to the board?
Yeah, we're not even gonna bill them just yet.
That's what I'm saying. But if that becomes the case, we kept it all the same. like I said, Marshall goes out there and they make a great showing and put on a bunch of tournaments, that's gonna go back, is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will be in lieu of that. They'll keep that.
That's kind of the
player
way
fee.
that
We
you
just-
offset, we use that,
we
but
just
again,
won't
it
bill
kind of
it.
comes back. We kind of get it back, pay it forward kind of scenario.
And I think we can have a better conversation after the spring season, because then we've got a set of numbers. Maybe it's just one set, maybe we need two, but at least we have something we can talk about.
See, I think we look at it in July, right?
I
Right
think
before
communication
the
is,
fall
we
ball,
just,
August season.
Mhm.
Cause you guys will start registration in July, I think. Yeah. All right. So then we're looking for a motion to revisit this in July and keep the contract as it is, as it has been presented tonight, right?
you're looking for a motion to approve this agreement with the addition of an addendum to outlay field usage fees versus tournament play fees.
Okay. So do we have a motion for that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Marshall. Thanks, Stephen. Number 5, discuss, consider, and possible action on advertising in the 2026 Joshua Community Guide.
Oh, yes, you did.
Okay. So previously, you guys have advertised, I think you all have a community guide in front of you. This is put out by, do you not? Alice, did you, I'm sorry, did you have?
Oh.
I get that for type A.
Probably with the type
Someone
A
like that.
paperwork.
Is it on the
Sorry.
computer?
My A and B is just on this, that's fine.
Okay.
So, the community guide is put out by Cleveland Times Review. And, previously, you guys have bought an ad page. A page is $850 to advertise for, I think this one was for parks. There are editorial pages, which is covered. There's no fee for this. The council page will be updated. And then, the only thing that we're looking at is to see if you guys want to continue to advertise, split it with, and do type A and type B, some sort of advertisement for both of you guys. How you want to handle that, or if you want to advertise.
So originally, I think the advertisement was, we had a new park coming in, it was all ADA compliant and all those things, right? And so I think that was the big push for that. I think it's still a good thing to push. I don't, just because it's not shiny new, doesn't mean it's not something we still want people to come visit and hang out at our park,
Yeah,
right?
and it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything else. It could be our events, since we have now taken over events from Chamber. So, we could advertise events there. Basically, you can use it for whatever you want. It doesn't just have to be parks.
Well, I want one of the ads to have Steve Mugg on it, sitting out there. There are a lot of things. We've always done this. There are a lot of things. He's got a lot of activities planned going on in the park. We've got activities with the stage. All that stuff can be advertised. I mean, there's lots of things we could do in here, including his photograph.
We could sell calendars, hosted park.
Okay. I think it is a good opportunity. You've got money budgeted for advertising and stuff that's in your budget, so you could cover it.
I think
What's our current budget for that?
2,500 for advertising.
how much have we used in previous years for advertising?
It's been close to that. I mean, this is something that we've done in the past. There's been a couple times we've gone into a different magazine with the county. We haven't really gotten much grasp off of that. This would kind of just promote what's going on here, and help get it out. I think it's a better bang for the buck to get local people here.
What are the expected, what's the expected market for this? How is this gonna be distributed? Whose eyeballs are gonna be looking at this most?
Our citizens.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's a free guide.
right.
We
How are
do-
they gonna get it? Are we mailing it to them?
I don't,
Usually you can pick them up at businesses here.
Okay.
I mean, we can do a mail out and send them out if we chose to do that. We can send one to everybody, but
That'd be expensive though, wouldn't
but,
it?
yeah, I mean, there'd be a cost with it. I
But
wouldn't,
yeah, putting stacks in local businesses and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is an annual thing, right? Like, so it'd be a 2026 one. When do we have to have something for it?
she hasn't given me a set date. I'm supposed to meet with her later this week about it, because we are working on updating, the directory in the back. And then we are, looking at, instead of using the chamber logo that's in the front, using City of Joshua logos. Guide.
Even space is the O.
I mean, I'm all for anything that can keep parks front of mind with the residents, so, you know.
I like it. I think, my personal opinion is I think we should do it. And I love the idea of, you know, we don't have to focus on the park, right? Like, we can focus on events and things that we're taking over and that we're doing. So, and truthfully, I don't even know what all those events
Well,
are.
I would
so.
focus on the park with this one because Type A is going to see this and focus on business. But y'all could do whatever you wanted to do. Y'all could focus clearly on park events or events that the park is putting on, 4th of July,
Yeah, that's kind of
some
what I
of
was
the
thinking.
Main Street stuff that we're doing. We can get with Steve and he can put out a list of what he's got. We can work with Nora and getting that stuff
We can do
out.
a
Get some
page.
pictures of the new park equipment out there, stuff like that, that we want to advertise.
Full calendar, you know,
Yeah. park events.
Calendar of events,
Good
yeah,
idea.
that's awesome.
keep that on.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that.
Mhm.
Anybody have any
Recommendation
questions
that we
on
do a full page ad.
Yeah, I think so. Anybody have any questions or?
And what's the cost for a full page ad?
$850. Is that right, Nora?
Yes,
Yep.
and a half page ad is 575, so it's really
A little bit more for Nate.
just a little bit more for the full
I
page.
think with a full page, we could get a calendar in there, so it's.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion then to approve, another ad in the Joshua Business Directory and Community Guide for 2026. That's gonna focus on our parks items, events that Stephen and Nora are gonna put together. Will we get to see it maybe next month or something, or?
I would think so, yes.
Okay,
Or this week, so I'll have her, do a draft to present to you guys.
okay, so looking for that motion?
I saw.
All right, all in favor of approving the ad as we just discussed? All right.
Feel like I'm Jeopardy.
Okay, discussion and update on the Parks Department monthly report, Mr. Gill.
We are project heavy right now, getting ready for baseball season coming out. Baseball field, we added 32 tons of infield material. We added 6 pounds of solid rework the edging between infield, outfield, grass lines. They all have breaks and lifts, infield materials for those, so. We got that. Right now, we have an ongoing project, we're putting up more of them, like that you see around the rest of the park. What's going around the backside of the baseball fields, there was some ugly old fencing between the two fields. So that's come down, we're installing, some more pipe fencing, to keep cars out, but people can still come out. We do have a lot of people that come from the neighborhoods back on the Spring Valley.
Yep.
They come in from the backside, we just don't want them to bring the cars with them to the park. So we got that going on. You know, all the projects, fixing lights, fixing lights. one of the upcoming projects is we're gonna be fixing some concrete patches in the sidewalk or the walk around the park. Also, planning the events, we got one coming up, it's March 8th. I'll send accurate date of the mall. It's gonna be a campfire story evening. So I actually wrote ChatGPT wrote a kid book about the parks employee. They have crazy things. We're gonna read that to the kids and have some, bring your own s'more. We'll go.
Talk about Dale.
I can't wait for that event.
It's gonna be great. Do all my impressions that I can do.
I'm impressed, man. You're an author and head of the parks. Come on. Man has
Well, trades.
no end to your talent.
So we have that coming up in March. Hey, we're gonna be doing a splash pad opening water fight. Few small things, and then June will be the month that's gonna be pop-up events, where a few hours we'll take a bunch of games and stuff that we have and just set it up and use it as pop-up events. Maybe some stuff with all of some games. June.
And there's not tournaments.
Okay, let's do that. Well,
It's at the splash pad, that's the only.
Yeah.
I do have a tentative list of all the activities going on. Project heavy and planning heavy.
How's the irrigation?
Irrigation's actually in pretty decent shape. Last week, the guys had to repair double check valve for splash pad. And the week before it froze. Yeah, that's done back up. And it was leaking, so the guys went out there to fix it. They have the water on the whole thing. All EDC. So we got to rebuild that. So, we've been working on fixing some leaks and stuff in the irrigation. It's big hole. It's probably where the irrigation right there. They're working on that. But the guys have been busy. They've been running like crazy. Irrigation system itself is working really good. Just fixing all the minor problems with it. It's a 60-zone system over 28. You find them as they should. So.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Stephen?
You also go check out the ball fields. You haven't been down there lately. They've done a good job.
Good. I have seen. Good job on that.
Yeah, drove by that the other day. All right, number 7, discussion and update on the EDC Director's monthly report. Miss Nora.
So, you guys haven't, I'm sure you all get the newsletter. We have a, business spotlight every week. This last weekend, I do want to say thank you to Dustin and Mark for coming to Ducky's ribbon cutting event, here in downtown. If you have not been, next Saturday, next Saturday, the 14th, is the grand opening to the public. They did have a soft opening this last weekend, but it is really neat little arcade setup, and they will have adult beverages and kind of shut down for kids at a certain hour and have adult beverages there.
Valentine's Day to the pinball tournament.
Yes.
They love that.
Let's see I have business bingo going on right now. If you have not gotten your business bingo card, please stop by the front, Cheryl's, counter over there. There's some rules attached to it. We have it posted on Facebook. So everyone on here has participated and given a donation varying from a free pizza up to $50 gift cards. We have several of those. It's worth over $500. So what you do is you go to the business anytime in the month of February, purchase something, anything, and they will stamp your card. once it's blacked out, you'll turn it into the front desk where you picked it up, and you will be entered into a drawing to win this gift basket. There's about
The whole
six.
card or like a row?
No, like the whole blackout.
Black.
The whole card needs to be blacked out. Yeah, the gift basket is, like I said, worth over $500 and still adding up because other people have, the ice storm kind of put us a little behind on donations, but they're still coming in, and I've gotten more $50 gift cards. So if you haven't participated, please participate. You may find a little hole in the wall that you may absolutely love. So we're trying to bring them more business and more exposure.
Are all the cards the same?
Yes, they're all the same. They all have a certain stamp and certain color. So we don't get anyone trying to cheat or
faking it.
anything. But
My family has
No.
one that says and Dairy Queen.
I mean, there's coffee shops. You can go to a coffee shop and just grab a coffee. You can go to Chicken Express on a Thursday and get your 50-cent iced tea. It doesn't mean you have to spend and buy a full meal at every place, but it's just giving them exposure.
Good deal.
Yes. Other than that, I don't have much else.
The business retention spotlight. It's part of the linked report. I was just curious if you were gonna be talking about, any particular work on retaining these listed businesses.
Well, this is business retention / business spotlights. These are some of the business spotlights. As far as retention, when I go out, I'll give them the information on the facade grant program, as well as offer the business spotlight, which puts them in our city newsletter, on our Facebook page, and on the billboard next to Sonic. They are on there for a week for free. So just to help them also get more exposure.
Anybody else have any other questions for Nora?
We do have a potential going into the old Burger King.
Oh,
No names yet.
you drop it.
No names yet, but hopefully soon it will not be vacant.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Our
As soon as we-
imaginations go wild.
Oh, wow, like there's about 6 or 7 I could think
Start a
of.
rumor, see how long it takes to get it
Yeah.
in.
Right.
I heard.
Remind you guys, Thursday night, the special call council meeting to be down at the True Life Church. You can see the stuff in a larger form, the X-Dot stuff, and answer questions if you have them. Feel free to attend. It will start at 6:30 and it will end firmly at 9:00. Okay, I don't want to keep everybody there all night long, so
I'm missing a track meet. for it.
take questions up until 9:00, or up until about 10 till 9. Then we got to stop long enough for the council to authorize a resolution or at least discuss it, and
Right.
then we're out the door.
All right. Future agenda items or requests for anybody?
Tree planting fundraiser,
Right.
Tree planting fundraiser.
Fundraiser.
yes, for the parks.
I know you've had a lot to do lately.
Just a
Okay.
discussion item.
Okay, anything else? On that note, it is 5:09 PM, meeting adjourned.